Welcome to Doctor's Homestead. My name's Daniel, and this is Prepper Pantry Pick of the Week. Every week we take you shopping with us. We pick out an item and show where it fits into your long-term food storage pantry. I know there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now, but we're sticking with Prepper Pantry, right? We're talking about long-term food storage, nutritional information, that kind of thing. Let's save the current events for another video, right? So I want to stay focused on what's going on. What we've got for you today, Amish Country popcorn, right? Pretty exciting. This is blue popcorn, and we paid $3.99 for the 2-pound bag. I've seen it online for a lot more than that, so I guess we're fortunate that our local farm store has it for a good price. It said $3.99. It's blue, just a little sweeter. So this is 23 servings per container, 140 calories per serving. So it's actually a lot of calories, 3,220 calories in a 2-pound bag. So a lot going on here with the Amish Country popcorn. So I did the math. If you want to live on popcorn, we try to use two numbers. We're talking 2,000 calories per day for this video. You'd need 14 servings. That would be $2.42, which isn't that bad comparatively. I mean, you can get to $1 or less when you look at things like sugar and flour, your basic ingredients, cooking from scratch. But in terms of relatively simple, compact, and long shelf life, popcorn is actually maybe not a bad choice, especially $2.42 per day. And this you'd call fancy gourmet popcorn. You could probably get the regular stuff for less, but we splurged a little bit on the Amish Country popcorn. So if you decided to live on popcorn, maybe it's a Shtf zombie apocalypse, you're stuck in the basement, there's a pandemic lockdown, something like that, and all you had was this bag of popcorn, you're sitting on almost 2 days of food above the starvation level, right? Because that would be 3,220 would get you about 1610 a day. If you had 2,000 calories, it wouldn't be quite, it'd be about a day and a half worth of food, but 14 servings, 1960 calories. So if you ate 14 servings, you get 21 grams of fat, which is 28% of your daily. So if you hit the daily, you'd only have about 28% of the recommended fat. So absolutely could call this low fat. Now in the cooking instructions, it says pour 1 part oil into pan, enough to cover bottom. So if you're cooking in an oil, I suspect the fat content would go up, and I know a lot of people like to put butter on it, but the kernels themselves, I would say, are low fat. You have 0 cholesterol, 0 sodium, and your total carbohydrates, 378 grams, is 140% of your daily. So if you ate 2,000 calories worth, you'd be above on the carbs, certainly a lot of carbs in corn. Total protein, 70 grams, which is respectable. When we look at protein, we talk about 50 to 200. Like most things, it doesn't have a percentage recommended, which always surprises me. I'll have to figure out why they don't recommend protein as part of a daily diet. But 70 grams is a reasonable amount of protein. It also contains iron and potassium. So in terms of shelf life, I got some mixed information. So on the bag itself, it says it has about a 2-year shelf life. If you look up popcorn itself, you get 6 months to a year, and you get indefinitely, and that has to do, I think, with the moisture content in the kernels. The popping corn has a lot of moisture, which helps it pop, right? And if that dries up, it probably won't pop as well, but it's also not likely to go bad if it's stored properly. So you say 6 months, you say a year, 2 years, or you could approach it as indefinitely, right? So it is potentially a good long-term dry goods stored, whether it's regular corn or popcorn. So a little history, had to find a little history of popcorn here. I've seen 4,000 years old. They're saying eating popcorn, popping corn for a snack or for a meal. This thing goes back to about 4,000 years ago. They found evidence of popcorn in a bat cave. I've seen stuff saying the Native Americans centuries ago would eat popcorn, and it became popular during the Great Depression as an affordable nutrient source, right? I think you gotta eat a lot, but there's a lot there. There's a lot of calories and a fair amount of nutrients, right, in the popcorn. So in terms of popping corn, not every corn will pop, they found. So there's several popular varieties of maize that are grown in the United States. However, only one of them, the Z maize avarta, I'm probably not saying that right, variety, will pop. Though this may seem limited, there are about 200 different strains of this corn. Each of them varies according to flavor, texture, and how they pop. So only one type, and that's kind of threw me off. Only one variety will pop, but there's hundreds of strains of that variety, and I guess that's just botany. I'm not a botanist. So can you grow it? And I thought that was kind of an interesting idea. So we bought this. We've planted corn before. This is corn ready to plant. This is a sweet corn, probably wouldn't pop good, but it looks very similar, right, to the popcorn. I've seen some stuff on it. There's articles, there's YouTube videos of saying you can grow it. The answer is sort of maybe, right? It's probably not going to be super fertile, which means you won't have a good germination rate. And some people say yes, of course you can plant it and you can sprout it if you like eating sprouts. But there are companies that sell corn, popcorn seeds specifically for planting and growing. So, you know, you kind of approach it from different ways. If you want to try to grow, just put these in the ground. We'll probably sprout them, germinate them a little bit first. You probably can, if you want to get the actual seeds meant for planting, you're going to pay a lot more. I think I did the math. This was, I think I said $3.99. This is 907 grams. If you want to buy a bag of seeds, of popcorn seeds to plant, I think you paid $4.99 for like 16 grams. So obviously a huge price difference. Maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. If you're serious about growing popcorn, you could try to plant these out. So there's a lot of different kinds of corn out there, and I'd sound like Forrest Gump's friend if I started listing out whole corn, sweet corn, corn syrup, corn starch, corn meal, right? A lot of corn products. This is another example if you didn't know what corn was. So these are what you call sweet corn, right? These are sweet corn seeds. These are ready to plant. This was $6.99 for 3 ounces of seeds, maturity in 85 days. We like planting corn, and that's where you're going to get this. This is your sweet whole kettle corn or whole kernel corn right in the can. So a lot of different ways you can do corn. You got the canned seeds. Once again, this is about a 2-year shelf life versus you can go back to indefinite, but are they going to be good to plant indefinitely? Probably not. Once they hit a certain point, your germination rate is going to go way down. So if your goal is to plant the corn, you can probably drag this out for years in terms of viability. Longer if you're stored in like a seed vault level of security, but you can always grind them up. Like you could grind this up and make corn meal. It's going to be different, right? I said the different kinds of popcorn, sweet corn, dent corn, white corn, blue corn, popcorn, all the different kinds of corn. They're all going to be a little different, right? Your sweet corn is more what you're going to eat. It's what you're going to have in the cans. Feed corn, right? I've seen videos where people buy the big 50 pounds of feed corn as like emergency food, and you can get that pretty cheap. We can get 50 pounds of seed corn right now for about, or feed corn, 50 pounds of feed corn, got to slow down, at feed store for about $10. So certainly that's not expensive. The pigs love it, the turkeys love it. Can you eat it? I mean, sure. It says unwashed, so I mean, I feel like there's a process, at least some level of process you'd want to go through before you grind it up and make like cornmeal. And they do make cornmeal out of field corn, but lots of options for corn. I don't think we've really hit corn too much before on Prepper Pantry in terms of talking about long-term, mid-term, short-term food storage, but it does fall into that, I said, pretty nicely. Like this could be considered indefinite. Canned goods, a lot of people say indefinite. Certainly says 2 years. Has some fats in it. Like when you go into canned, anytime canned, all of a sudden you've got 390 milligrams of sodium per serving compared to 0, right? So there's a lot of different nutritional facts depending on how you're buying your corn, how you process your corn. certainly a good idea. You can grow it yourself. It does take some practice, right, to be able to grow corn. Takes some time to grow corn, obviously the right conditions, but if you're talking long-term survival, long-term self-sufficiency, growing corn's not a bad idea. It's been, I said, thousands of years people have been eating corn. It's a good staple. A lot of stuff you can make from corn. So hope that helps out. As always, thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.